Hi, this is Mich coming to you today with a podcast about Harry and Meghan and voting. First of all, let's congratulate Harry and Meghan for being recognized as part of the Time 100 honorees, for whom creating a better world is paramount. The couple sat in their backyard and provided a videotaped speech to acknowledge the honor and share their feelings about online misinformation and ethical standards, but also the importance of voting in the upcoming election. Meghan said, "Every 4 years we are told the same thing, that this is the most important election of our lifetime, but this one is. When we vote, our values are put into action and our voices are heard. Your voice is a reminder that you matter, because you do, and you deserve to be heard." And Harry, on his part, said, "When the bad outweighs the good for many, whether we realize it or not, it erodes our ability to have compassion and our ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. Because when one person buys into negativity online, the effects are felt exponentially. It's time to not only reflect but act. As we approach this November, it's vital that we reject hate speech, misinformation, and online negativity." And once again, any accomplishment, any action, any signs of life are met with derision and a campaign effort to slander this couple. It doesn't matter if it's effective. It's just disingenuous, and the point is to never let up on them. And news and entertainment careers are built on these platforms to knock Harry and Meghan down. And they're getting money and they get public airing. So these folks fake clutched their pearls. And for those who don't know what that saying means, because I know we have audience from outside of America, an official definition from the Cambridge Dictionary states clutching pearls means when you behave as if you are very shocked, like you're holding on to the pearls around your neck, especially when you show more shock than you really feel in order to show that you think something is morally bad. So, in other words, the fake outrage for the benefit of an audience. So let's get under the hood of this issue about monarchy and politics. And the basic question is, does the Queen or royal family vote? No, but not because there is any law preventing them from doing so. It is all by choice. So, repeat, all royals are able to vote. They just choose not to. The expectation, the convention, is that the royals are above politics, and everyone in the line of succession is expected to remain politically neutral. And the Queen, neutrality is a good thing, some experts feel, so that no matter which political party holds the majority in Parliament, that ruling party is considered Her Majesty's government. But again, it's convention, not law. Now, you're hearing about neutrality by refraining from taking an action. So, if you're saying that the Queen is supposed to be politically neutral, it means that she shouldn't take an action. But there's another section to this, or another side to this, is that there is a thing called opinion. So you can have an opinion and still not pull the lever. So what does this mean for Harry? Harry, in my opinion, won't buck tradition in England. He will continue to not vote in British elections. And there is a chance that he would extend that tradition to America. But let's not jump to the conclusion yet, because the grumbling Brits on this issue can take several seats. Because guess what? If Harry becomes a U.S. citizen and if he chooses to vote, you can clutch your pearls all you want. There isn't a court of law that would rule against him. And take the Duke title or what are all the other titles he may have, but you can't strip him of Prince without stripping all of them. So keep harping about that nonsense of stripping titles. And by the way, this fake neutral position of the monarchy is exactly that. It's fake performance that everyone knows it's fake. In reality, we've got lobbyists, we've got foreign interference, we've got even fascist ideals openly influencing governments and elections. But we're going to waste time and continue this stupid drama about being neutral. We're in the 21st century where we tell it like it is. Politics and political machinations are all around us. Before we are born, we are, in a way, political, if you want to talk about female reproductive rights. When we are born, and regardless of our socioeconomic status, we are political pawns in districts and gerrymandered strongholds. And again, for the non-Americans, when I say gerrymandered, I mean that in many cases illegal or forcible manipulation of boundaries to favor one party or class. So the politicians would come in and they would change the borders based on possibly demographics, on economic means, and put those people under another party to make their party bigger. So to continue, even our level of immunization is political. So whether you an anti-vaxxer or not, even that is a political statement. Where we live, how we live, if we have pre-existing health conditions, or if we have sudden savings draining illnesses, it's all political. How we die, how or where we're put to rest, it's political. So this idea that anyone can be neutral is silly. And again, the idea that the member of the monarchy can demonstrate neutrality is bogus. From their pet projects, as Charles covers his environmental causes, that's a political act. Whether William gives a politician a frosty stare, it's a political act. The Queen's decision to invite someone to tea or to give them military honors is a political statement. Let's focus on the political neutrality. Some experts are okay for the monarchy to have a view if they're public about it, versus going behind the scenes with that view to manipulate an outcome. They would prefer transparency and accountability if their monarchy chooses to be political. Remember, Charles was accused of writing private letters to members of the Parliament over several years on various issues for which he had strong opinions. The release of these letters went through the legal system, including to the Supreme Court, which ruled for the release of the letters. In the news, the letters were considered quite underwhelming after they saw them, and it was pretty much a dud considering the buildup that, oh my gosh, Charles had broken protocol. They were simply stressing his viewpoint. These letters were simply stressing his viewpoint on the issues near and dear to his heart. In other words, he was operating like a lobbyist. We've seen the heightened interest on the letters from the Queen, and this happened this year, to the Governor General in Australia who fired its Prime Minister in 1975. So her Governor General fired Australia's Prime Minister in 1975. And upon these letters' release, however, it showed that the Queen was deliberately not informed because of the level of the crisis. So, once again, the monarchy was shown to not be influential on certain matters. Yet, we can see that in 2003, when the Queen opened the second term of the Welsh Assembly, she voiced her concern at the low turnout in its recent election, because only 38% voted. The Queen said, "It is vital to the health, both of the United Kingdom and of Wales, that our democratic institutions flourish and adapt. I share your concerns that we must encourage all our people to exercise their right to vote. This is a real challenge now before us all. Okay? Unquote. So, where was the mass hysteria when she did this? Obviously, she saw the need to say something. She used her platform to say something directly to the assembly. Now back to Harry and Meghan. And I'll take Meghan out of this discussion for a second, because even if she had the dual citizenship of having the British citizenship and the American, she would still be voting in America's elections. She's been quite clear about that. She is too respectful of what voting means, especially as a biracial woman, and the sacrifices made to get that privilege and right to vote, to then squander it with apathy. Again, Harry can very well have his American citizenship and vote, or again, still refrain from voting. More importantly, his support of people voting does not break convention. And as I highlighted with his grandmother in 2003, he is just doing the same thing. But this got a lot of play in the media when the professional liar Daily Mail's Nikki Schwab erroneously said that Harry and Meghan had asked the people to vote for Biden. She directed her lie to Trump to get his opinion on the matter during his press conference. I'm sure it was Schwab's intent not only to use an international stage because Trump's airtime gets viewed globally, but also force the palace to weigh in. I am sure a rebuke would be nice for Harry because he should know his place. You know, I think they would just love to tell Harry to get back in that tiny airless box. And, don't let the woman lead you astray again. Then the Daily Mail followed up with a supposed body language expert to entertain their knuckle-dragging audience, and they used those words for Harry, that he was reluctant while sitting there and understood the fallout. Again, as if Harry has no brain and no sense of self. He was intelligent enough to serve in the military. He risked his life for his country. He started successful charitable enterprises, and he married, and he is faithful to his family. And yet, these lazy louts have the nerve to put him down. Meghan has quite effectively stepped up solo for her projects, and when they have a shared interest like this, they sit together. Doesn't take rocket science to see the clarity of how effective this couple is with each other, and it certainly doesn't take a body language scammer who peddles his wares that a tabloid should be taken seriously. Later in this faux outrage, Buckingham Palace churned out a statement on Harry's comments. The Duke is not a working member of the royal family, and any comments he makes are made in a personal capacity. And while the firm was so easily unmoved by legitimate outrages against Harry and Meghan, they managed to scurry from their rat holes to cobble together an official statement of record. I really hope Charles slices and dices the staff when he gets in. I look forward to his scaling down because I'm sure many aren't his faves either. And yes, I'm not a royalist at all, but I know he's not getting kicked out as much as people yammer on about Charles and how much they don't like Charles in the British media. The monarchy is going to be just fine for a hot second. But the energy that the British royalist media and the trolls drum up over this couple would be impressive if they had done the same level of investigation and had the same vitriol about how they got duped into voting for a referendum. But nothing gets a rabid, zombified crowd going than to toss them the fuel to feed that ignorance with bigotry, misogyny, and prejudicial misinformation, because that nonsense works every time. Harry will do what Harry wants to do. The British royalists are under some delusion that they have power. Countries are ready to peel away from the fake trappings of the golden era of the monarchy, and that this delusion of power should carry any weight across the border, and much less in America, is laughable. Our own orange-faced chimp is stomping around breaking laws and grifting as the defective gene in his DNA is in full mode. So when he responded to the Daily Mail's professional liar with his "I'm not a fan of Meghan," I'm the first to say who gives a flying F what he thinks. And his friendly advice to Harry about Meghan has zero weight. Let's put that in the negative. Negative whatever weight. This is a geriatric man-ho who has disrespected every wife and is perfect for a billboard ad for STD testing. Nothing that drips from that mouth about Harry and Meghan is to be accepted. You can tell I do not like him. I am not his fan. So, furthermore, I sincerely hope that Harry continues speaking out on the issues that are political and paramount for society's benefit, such as the removal of landmines, maintaining mental health of veterans a priority, protecting our environment, supporting gender equality, and urging for the education of women. He should never shut up, never talking in a whisper, and always accompany his words with bold actions. And when Harry shows vested interest in his new homeland, the U.S., Archie's primary home, and Meghan's birthplace, he is showing that he is a true citizen of the world. He doesn't plan to be a passive observer when he has the platform, the working knowledge, and energy to be instrumental and an advocate. Sitting on his hands, duct tape over his mouth, blinders on his eyes, and earplugs inserted are the only way to be politically neutral. So let's stop with the pretentious claptrap and be proud of this man who doesn't abuse his social position but instead once again has shown himself to be a responsible and respectable husband, father, and prince. And that's Mich signing out.